What are you doing over here, buddy? Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome. For all of my West Coasters, good morning. For all my East Coasters, good afternoon. And for all of my Europeans, good afternoon. It's going to be another beautiful day. It's going to be a little hot. It's got a little hot, but we're starting to get used to the heat again. You know what I mean? It takes a while. That first like hot week. And we're talking like when I'm saying hot, we're talking like mid 90s, and this type of work is not very well suited to the blazing heat. We haven't hit the hundreds yet, but it's always tough. But good morning, everyone. How's it going, my friend? It is going tremendous. Healthy again, doing good, doing good. Rage, I know it feels like it has been forever. I have a lot to update you guys on. A lot's happened. It's all good stuff too. Yes, shuffle on in here. Howdy, everybody. I got myself some Japanese sencha green tea. Really looking forward to this. I don't know, some green tea's been sounding really good. You know what I mean? Hello from South Africa. Cheers, my friend. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Ryan, how you doing, buddy? It's so good to see you all. It's an honor to have you in my workshop. Copper is, terrorizing the neighborhood now. It's all good. It's all good, guys. What? Oh yeah. So one of the reasons that I've been away and doing all this other madness is so in blacksmithing there are organizations, there's associations, where people get together, share knowledge, all this stuff. I have never taken part in such a thing because I was always just in my cave doing my thing. Just kind of learning. I never really felt like I had a whole lot to teach because I felt like just myself, these last 25 years, I've just always been a constant student, which I feel like there's a certain philosophy there just regardless. I think it's really important to be a kind of a forever student. And for the last couple of years, the Northwest Blacksmith Association has been requesting that I come up and do some demos, do some workshops and stuff like that. And I just have always been too busy with my commissions that I haven't been able to go up. But their spring conference just so worked out to perfectly align with my wife's birthday. And we have family up in Portland that she only gets to see once a year. So it's like, what the heck? We flew up there, go visit family, and pile it all into one trip. And I went up there, up to Washington, and showed them some business. It was a blast. I didn't know what to expect. Like I said, I never really did any association style stuff before, but it was well received. I think a lot of people were scratching their head like, who's this long-haired hippie guy from California? What's he gonna teach us? You know what I mean? And they were skeptical at first because I was getting into like deep theory of some of the kind of mathematical equations that I've come up with to get those good compound bends, right? Everything is done on the diamond when it comes to flat bar. I can explain it, but I'll bore you. And it was great because I was like mic'd up. For those of you that were following my Instagram stories, I have a whole bunch of footage that I'm trying to compile. One, for my apprentices, because I'm sure they'll be able to extrapolate something, later down the road. But I want to do like kind of a recap for all of you guys too. Maybe just a short. Hi everyone, Cave of Wonders. I like that. Salutations, Harry. It's so good to see you, my friend. Where was I? Yes, but towards the end of my it was like 10 hours of heavy forging where I was taking like 2-inch bar, forging it down to just a needle, a big upset like the size of my hand on the base, and I did this like balancing act. I can't wait to share the piece with you. It stayed up there in their cool gallery that goes back into history. Like we're talking like 1980s. This has been around, and they have like this cool space where all of the different demonstrators and teachers have donated something to their kind of like library, if you will. So that's up there. It was an honor, and my whole focus was to, sorry, I didn't mean to ramble about this for so long, but my whole focus was to let yourself get weird. Let yourself imagine and, have a sense of whimsy in your workshop. Because in the art of blacksmithing, there's a lot of like, this is how you do it. It's most efficient. It's X, Y, and Z. There's a rhyme and a reason. What I really wanted to challenge them with is disrupting that. No rhymes, no reasons, and just have some fun. Get that childlike sense of joy and whimsy out in you. Man, I'm seeing all the beautiful patrons in here. This is fantastic. And if you didn't know, we've got a Patreon. There's all these amazing community members that are there waiting for you to be buds. Everyone, quick hello. Yeah, out with family for Father's Day. Deep Creek, I'm glad you stopped by, my friend. Yes, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Harry, I'm looking at you, partner. Happy freaking Father's Day. If you're fortunate enough to, have a father figure in your life, either it be, genetic or a mentor, congrats. It's, not everyone is so lucky. So, get out there and appreciate those men out there that inspire you to be better. It's a big job. It's a big job being a dad. So far, I've been really enjoying my dad role as a good old uncle, a proper funkle, How am I, Kendall? I'm doing good. Oh, you're probably asking Harry. Sorry, I don't mean to rain on your parade there, Harry. Ooh, updates in the shop. So, Ginkgo Gate's gone. Ginkgo Gate is gone. It's at the powder coaters right now. It's not my favorite finish, but it's very important for the client to not have rust on the job. I totally get it, You too, Max, you too. Ken, I'm doing great. I hope you're doing the same. I still can't get over the cute bear ear, head thing that you had on. It's just so cute. It has no business being that cute. Speaking of being cute, Copper Dog, you want to say hi to the nice people? He just whipped around the corner all excited. Come here, dude. Come here. Come on. Loves to take his time. He's a quick dog, too. Oh, buddy. There's Mr. Copper Dog. What do you see? Who knows? Who knows? The boy. Yeah, Harry, look at those custom emojis. Hey, sir, what are some life lessons you learned in your life? Oh, my God, I'm constantly learning them and forgetting them and then being reminded of them. You know what I mean, Mr. Copper Dog? Life lessons. Oh, boy. Honestly, it all kind of circles back to just being kind. It's hard sometimes. But, empathy goes a really long ways. And just circle back to that. If you're ever feeling lost, just kind of circle back to kindness. How could I better the lives of people around me? Or how could I maybe be kinder to myself so I'm not beating myself up or out down in the dumps or feeling that my artistic vision is not enough? That kind of stuff. That's a good old life lesson for you. Bonafide Copper Dog. That is 100% genuine Copper Dog. Love you guys. It never ceases to amaze me how you can brighten my day. Oh my God. And it's been a damn good day so far. And it's only going to get better too from here on out. Updates in the shop. Ginkgo Gate's gone. It's going to be back probably next week. I'll be putting all the glass in. That's going to be a whole darn thing. I'm going to try and share the whole experience with that, putting the glass in. That's always temperamental. Rage, what's up? I know you have videos of me going feral the ball pit. Rage. You know it, dude. I think Casey got one. There's balls flying everywhere. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast. And building up a big ball fort, diving in there, and it was just peeking at it, and then it burst out. And I had friends in there. Unfortunate for them because balls were getting pummeled. They were getting ball pummeled. You got to show us. I don't know what Casey did with it. She had a story at one point. Fantastic news, have fun, make stuff. Jim, that's what I'm talking about, bud. So, but I have switched gears. As we're waiting for the Ginkgo Gate to get done, we're going to the steel stampede. which I'm really excited for, you know. And of course, for the Ginkgo Gate, I filmed every part of the process. So look forward to all those videos once I get back to editing and all that stuff. But if you're unfamiliar, this is the shop copy of, the Steel Stampede. It is this banister depicting, a stampede of steel, copper, and brass horses ripping down this stairway, all brought to life with stained glass and hand-forged steel. And I'm really excited. But you can tell I have a whole bunch of measurements, a matrix of measurements, if you will. Because steel is very unforgiving. You know what I mean? Steel does not move easily. Even when the stuff is hot, people have, when they like go in blacksmith for the first time, they think, oh, this piece of bar is like yellow hot. It's just going to like be super easy to move. It's still tough. It still resists you, even though it's, more plastic. But when you're dealing with drywall, wood, framing, all that stuff gives a lot of time before steel does. So when I build this banister, it's got to be perfectly form-fitting. It just needs to just pop in like it was built for it. This is gonna be, right? So remember for the Ginkgo Gate, I built that frame. Because I needed to test those automatically closing hinges, right? So I built that frame with like a kind of a trolley system so I could wheel it around. Well, I modified it. Let's see, let me turn you around. Let's see here, okay. There's the ceiling up above. Okay, so let me back up here. So this is kind of the pony wall, like the stairway is right on the other side of this piece here. This is all out of 5-inch square tubing. And got it all on wheels so I can move this piece around as I'm building it. But there's one last step, is the steps. So this would be the hallway, and like this actual floor is floor height, all leveled out, and everything is within about a 1/16 of an inch. Because a 1/16 is a mile when it comes to steel, But I still need to build the steps in so that I can really feel the flow of the handrail as you kind of circle these rounded steps and up the stairway up through here. Because like ergonomically, it's got to feel good. It's got to feel right. And that's the only way that makes sense to me to make that happen. You know what I mean? What did Kendall say? Do you know when you are supposed to hear about the public work? Ryan, that's such a good question, my friend. It's very difficult. So whenever it's that crazy roundabout, is that what you're asking? The crazy roundabout is deep in I don't want to say committee because that's not there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and they all have very justified concerns, opinions, all that stuff. And when you get a lot of people involved, things move very slowly. So we're still kind of talking and all that stuff. Deep in 100-acre wood. Sorry, I'm ignoring. I'm not meaning to ignore the chat. Yeah, the board of directors. Totally, Ryan. It's difficult, and it's I think the hardest thing is getting everyone in the same room so I can answer the questions once. And it's kind of like a bad game of telephone. You know what I mean? Which is okay. It's the nature of the beast, right? Like these things are in place for a reason. But it's hard when you're kind of selling a sense of whimsy, is what I do. It's hard for other people to do that, when it's not kind of from their heart. It's okay. It's okay. Like it's not their job to do that. But when they're trying to explain things, through a kind of a chain of command, it's tough. It's really tough. Dude, Robin, how you doing, my friend? Han Solo, Harry, great quote, my friend. Been there, totally understand, Ryan. Oh, buddy. And it was interesting. So yesterday, we were in town, and I stopped by because I have that memorial, the Veterans Memorial to build. And I've been slowly kind of thinking and processing how I want to do that because I have a huge sense of responsibility to do a good job at that. That is a huge honor that I don't want to fumble. I can't fumble the ball on that. So I went and visited a nearby one, and I was really inspired because one of the things that really was actually really inspiring me is not so much like the placards and the information and like the donors steps and stuff like that. It was that there was a bit of a garden aspect to it. There was a lot of life, and I feel like a lot of these monuments can come off a little bit sterile. Like it's important to be reverent. But there was a lot of life. It was lush. There was a lot of ivy and stuff like that. So I feel like having very sustainable garden space, a part of this, I think is going to be really important. Magical as always, my friend. That's what I'm talking about. So why the time change? Matt, that's a great question. So 10 a.m. for my time, PST, was always tea time. And every week we would do tea time together. And, we got like sick a bunch. We've just been like absolutely exhausted. And that was one of the things that had to shift was I would do tea time every other week and do Sunday chats every other week. So they're alternating, but still taking up the same time slot. That's why the time change. Dear my achy breaky heart, Billy Ray Cyrus, is that you? Ha! Desha. I mean, I take that as a huge compliment. He was a good old heartthrob back in the day. I remember my mom listening to his music on the old cassettes, and the old Jeep Cherokee. Old memories. Good old memories. And as you can see, the frame for the to get this thing perfectly leveled out. For the stairway, I still got to build the stairs in there so I know exactly where everything is. But you have super high-tech shim system, very high-tech stuff to get this thing absolutely perfectly level. It's funny because I feel like when it comes to, craftsmen who you really respect and admire, one thing that always is consistently surprising that I have found is that they're all just doing silly stuff like this. Like they're not as high tech as you maybe like put them on a pedestal to think they are. We're all just out here making it work with what we got. Do what you got to do. Dang right. I save every piece of scrap, every piece of bar, like everything, because one thing that's cool about being a smith, and that's why I commend all of you to get a little bit of smithing under your belt, no matter what walk of life, no matter who you are, what you do, because you can take just a little chunk of steel and make a lot of stuff with it. A lot of stuff. If you need a little bit of a tool, you need a little, wedge for your hammer that's getting loose, anything, in a couple minutes, you can forge that out, make yourself a little hook, anything you need. It's a tool maker's trade. It's great. Was that an animal silhouette used as a shim? Which one? Let me see. No, it's not an animal silhouette. But much like clouds, I had the beholder, right? Like you can imagine a whole lot of different figures. I love that about our collective minds. We can see faces in just about anything. That type of stuff. It's like, oh, that cloud looks like a bunny rabbit. Oh, Casey, thank you so much. Yeah, you can find my monthly live schedule on Discord. We post it every month, along with like our monthly art challenges and stuff like that. And also, Ryan, I noticed that you're really getting a lot out of these art challenges. Also, we're thoroughly enjoying your work, by the way. Holy crap, buddy. Harry. Ooh, it's so easy to see the members. Okay, Harry. Max, in the global history class, we are just now getting to the Bronze Age. Very, very cool. I'm blown away by the early humans learning to cast and smell and smith. Harry, 100%. Absolutely, my friend. It's so interesting because when we think about early man, we think of like, sure, maybe they were a little bit less literate, less access to knowledge and stuff like that. We didn't have the internet, right? But early people were just as intelligent as they are now. All of these ages, all of these extreme technological advancements happened in a blink of an eye when it comes to the totality of our collective species, right? And when we think about, they weren't unintelligent. They were smart. They were us. Like figuring out like, whoa, this metal came out way stronger, or just using block and tackle, leverage and stuff like that. And like one thing that I really love about that I received from work in construction is when people can organize, especially around a common goal, with some really good sense of engineering, good sense of leverage, physics. Like we would level houses with just a couple dudes with hydraulic jacks and stuff like that. Like what people are capable of is inspiring. And like I know there are some really incredible monuments out there that we have no idea how they were created. But I told you guys this before. I have full faith in humanity and organized labor that what we can do is pretty incredible. People are smart. People are brilliant. William, I had and if I miss your comment, I mean nothing by it. I'm over here rambling my face off. If I miss it, please put it again. You won't annoy me one bit. I'd love to get to it. Hi, Max. I had a question and a statement earlier. Can you look at it? William just posted again. I'll get lost. I'll get lost in there. I won't get back. All of a sudden, the live will shut down because I'm not too sharp over here with the doobly-doos. Max, is there a new tattoo on your elbow? No. Is there some smuts on me? No. It got me nervous thinking I wound up in some grease or something like that. Don't you hate that? When you brush up on some grease and all of a sudden you're seeing it all around the house or something like that? Egyptian pyramid. Oh, totally, Paul. And Stonehenge are incredible feats of ingenuity. My man, that's what I'm talking about. Absolutely. Did they have some other technology that we don't know about? Maybe. Because the way they cut those stones in those weird like scoop fashions, that's weird. There's some weirdness going on. I feel like we're missing a big piece of the puzzle, whatever that is, but still, incredible feats. Oh, someone, well, thank you. That's very kind of you. Will you be building airships? Ooh, Zephyr. Well, the second that Minecraft update drops, you bet your buns I will be. You don't have to do a cobblestone pillar all the way up to then build up into the sky. I can now just take my happy gas and build myself a balloon up there. But airships, that would be so much fun. It makes me nervous. I'm not a good flyer. I am getting better though. Especially after this trip up to that blacksmithing conference. It's so honored to just like have a live audience. I had my Britney Spears mic on. I felt like a superstar. Smithing for people. Or the huge underground cities in the Amazon. Totally, my friend. William, are you a cigar guy? You know what? I definitely have my time with cigars for sure. I had my first ever on Wednesday. How'd it feel? Nice. Yes, cigars are fun. If you're not used to them, they can make you're a little sick if you're not ready for that sort of thing. But yeah, I used to definitely smoke cigars. And every now and then I'll definitely partake. But I think my favorite was pipe, like, just like a tobacco pipe. I inherited my grandfather-in-law's pipe collection. He was a Navy SEAL back in like the 50s, and he had this cool one of this. It was white. It was this kind of like Arabian-looking guy with a beard, and that was my favorite one. And it was like I always remember going into his house, and it was the cherry tobacco. Those all those old guys would smoke, and it was just so nostalgic for me. Yeah, a pipe and like a port, a good port wine. Pff, sign me up. Steven, excited to see the footage. I know. I'm trying to get that to you guys. I'm trying to figure out a good mode to compile it all right now. Still working on it. I'll get that to you guys pronto. You need a window seat, Paul. Actually, 100%. I really enjoy being be able to see kind of like the hydraulics in the wing. All of a sudden, extend, and all of a sudden the wing does all sorts of crazy stuff. Like I like to see it so it makes sense what's happening. It's not just this big old mystery. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, while you fly fish together, that's what's up, Ryan. That's a very cool memory. And Tolkien, Harry. There's nothing more calming because it's almost like forced meditation. You know, because to like have a pipe and even a cigar. If one side starts burning a little hot or whatever, you're it's almost like a little mini campfire, right? You're tending to it. And it's a bit of like forced meditation where you're like kind of forced to be present, doing something kind of monotonous and calming. And that's one of the things I really enjoyed about it. Being out in nature, smoking a pipe or a cigar or something like that, especially around a campfire. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's because like a pack, to pack your pipe bowl is an art form. It needs to be the right density, it needs to be the right moisture content, all that stuff. Used to forge cool like little multi-tools, that was like a Swiss Army knife kind of a situation. That was a lot of fun. Got to make a pipe tomahawk, Steven. That would be rad. Speaking of around the campfire, could you imagine you finish and you splitting wood? Is a knockout forced meditation? That's funny. I actually find tea because I can't meditate to save my life. Bzzz, it's like a beehive in here, So to sit down, especially with like a good conversation like what we're having right now, which I love. People from all around the world, all walks of life, all different backgrounds, coming together to share some thoughts. Count me in. Over a hot cup of tea, it's like forced meditation. And I know forced might seem a little bit of a little aggressive. Maybe coerced meditation is a little bit more appropriate. I'm not gonna fall for that, River. Come on now. Love the process. Yeah, yeah. There's process in anything. The Japanese taught us that. There's process in everything. There's art in everything. Talking about just a tea ceremony. Talking, God, the parallels here are just uncanny. We've got a sencha Japanese green tea. There's art in everything. And whenever I hear people saying like, "Ooh, I wish I could be an artist. I wish I could be creative." Poppycock. There's creativity in every dang thing. Max, did I tell you about the June fitness challenge I accepted? Harry, no. Do tell, my friend. Cosby meditation. Robin, you quit that. God. Oh, meditation doesn't have to be silent. Ryan, that's what I'm talking about. There can be meditations of shining of hammer. I love that. All about intention. Ryan, you're packed with wisdom, buddy. A lot of wisdom. Oh man, what a good day. I'll tell you what, I'm excited to forge the steel stampede. I'm really looking forward to that build. That's going to be a lot of fun. You know, it's going to be challenging in a lot of ways, but I think that's really important. You know, make sure everything you build or create is always challenging in some regard. You know, because that's how you grow. Mother was a Buddhist teacher. Oh, that helps. Yeah, Ryan, that certainly helps. I'm grading for my blue level one blue for karate. That's awesome. I love that you used the word poppycock. I've been trying to bring that one back for years. Hey, you and me together, we got this, buddy. 100-minute exercise a day, 100 ounces of water, 10-minute meditation, 10-page read. Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. That's a great goal. My teacher was the Rocky Mountains. Hey, teachers come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. I'm all about that. That's fantastic. That's something I haven't heard since I was a child. Poppycock. You know what? We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. Or bring into the chat, how do we improve upon it? What's the next level of poppycock? You know what I mean? Keep it clean. I'm now realizing what I just welcomed into the world. One of the days I'm gonna make a Damascus humidor. Ooh, William, yeah, with the Spanish cedar? That would be pretty cool. That'd be really cool. You know, and those cigar enthusiasts, they'll pay big money for some cool swag. Rage, pish posh. That's fun. I like that. Pish posh. I can just hear Plush, the patron, our dear friend Plush, totally enjoying that pish posh. I feel like she has said that in either tea time or on the Minecraft server. Oh man. It's Canadian? Whoa, 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 Rage. Are you sure? Pish posh is Canadian? No way. Poppycock obviously evolves into an orphan. Harry. Boulder Dash. There's some good ones out there. We've let that slip. Boulder Dash. Ooh, man. Why does it feel like some like Old West prospector would say Boulder Dash? You know, the crazy guy with the upturned brim. Oh, hey, Luca. I haven't seen this guy in a few months. How are you doing? Luca, I'm doing fantastic. I know it's been a busy bit. I always just try to come on here every other Sunday to give you guys workshop updates. Thank you for joining me. Treasure Planet, with the utmost respect, shut your howling screamer. William, that is one of the most underrated Disney movies ever made. I love Treasure Planet. That's actually the kind of the setting of my next like D&D world or worlds. It's going to be very cosmic, you know. It's going to be many, many worlds. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. A lot of Treasure Planet, Star Trek, Firefly-esque. God, I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've been thinking about it for years now. And I'm slowly going to start like putting my notes like down. I've just been kind of like working on it in my head, you know. A cow's opinion. Is that one? I've never heard that. Cupper, come say hi. I've never heard that. A cow's opinion. Wait, a Canadian fitness influencer, is that Tank? Tank's a friend of mine. I love Tank. Treasure Planet and Atlantis were so good. Luca, 100%. Absolutely. I like to think that they're like in the same universe, you know, like maybe different eras or simultaneously happening, you know. Harry, 100%. That type of animation, and that was like fresh. That was fresh out the gate stuff. That was, when CGI and like classic artwork were all kind of combining. And it looked so good. I don't know if it was well received though. Copper, come here. Come here. Come here, dude. He always takes a sweet time. Oh, buddy. Here he is. He's all hot because he's been baking in the sun. What's on your, hey, trim your nails, dude. What is this? Oh, he's got like sap stuck between his fingernails. That can't be good. I'll have to cut that out of there, buddy. A moot point. A moot point. Oh, Rage. Whipping up some waffles, some hash browns, and some bacon. Rage, you're doing it right, buddy. What a good dog. Every shop's got to have a good old shop dog or a kitty cat. But there needs to be some life in the workshop. You know what I mean? Oh, Rena, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. You have my deepest condolences. That's rough. It's rough, Mr. Copper Dog. Ah, stink ass breath, little guy. Man. It's just so good to like reconnect with you guys. It's been busy just between traveling and holy crap, you know? I don't know what it is about traveling that it gets so tiring. Maybe you're just on all the time because it was proper planes, trains, and automobiles. We took trains, we took automobiles, we flew there, of course. But just making sure that there's like you're making your arrival time and setting up a driver on the way there and stuffing your happy face. Like I think my favorite way to travel is just eat and drink my way up and down the countryside. You see, that's where you get to meet people. You get to like understand little local cultures because every place has its own little local culture. And that's what's so cool, especially here in the States. So big here. It's so big. And like you just got all these cool little cultures and microcosms, You get to go out there and meet people, mix it up with the locals. Because all it takes is a glance. Maybe this could be some homework for all of you. All it takes is a glance. You make eye contact, it's open season. Like if you glance at each other and it's like, hey, like what's your favorite thing to order here? Like have you been here before, X, Y, and Z? And what's your favorite thing to order? And you know what? If they're locals, they're going to be more than happy to tell you what to get because they know, it's fun, because like local pride is really important. I love that type of thing. Like I love going out to a restaurant that I've been to like 100 freaking times and, someone looks unsure and you can like, if you're sitting at like a bar setting or something like that, it's like, no, you need this, It's great, being accommodating is one of the best things ever. So I know you haven't asked in the while, Rage, I know, the Valhalla doors. I'm just so touched that it meant so much to you guys. The fact that you guys love them so much. Still no word. Still no word. But right now I am so busy with work. I couldn't imagine when I'd be able to get back to them, which is depressing to think about. But I still am holding out a lot of hope that they want to, continue that build because my goodness, they're going to be cool. They're going to be cool one day, I promise. I mean, they're cool now, but they're not even close to cool as they can become, Zinc, what is my shop about? Ooh, that's a great question. Are you talking like my online shop or like my workshop, like what I do here at the Anvil? What you asking, Zinc? I know, Rage. I know. I'm sorry. I wish I had better news for you. But trust me, You know, like there's some good stuff coming on the horizons. Where you are now? Yeah, so this is my workshop. So, you know, my blacksmith shop. I build crazy doorways. I build lighting fixtures, massive chandeliers, outdoor spaces, just massive constructs, all out of forged steel. You know, kind of all done the old way. I don't use any technology. It's all kind of done by hand. You know, I draw it out first. Like for instance, like this is the handrail I'm about to build. I'm calling it the steel stampede. And it's a stampede of horses tearing down this, you know, this stairwell. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna have stained glass, forged steel. It's gonna be beautiful, and I'm gonna build it inside of that frame that I put together, exactly to scale of what the job site is, so that I know it's perfect when it goes in there. You know, Zinc, thank you so much. Check out the other work. You know, it's in fun. It's a lot of fun, and I think my deepest goal, and this was my main focus, that I was trying to teach up when I was teaching those classes up in Washington, is people are at their best when they're experiencing a childlike sense of wonder and whimsy. That's it. People are at their best when they're experiencing like imagination, awe, you know, and that's my life's goal, to facilitate that as much as I possibly can, as long as I have, right? As long as I got, I'm gonna try and create installations that will create that sense. So the gate was delivered. The Ginkgo gate is what you're talking about, I'm assuming. It is off in the powder coater shop. It's not in here anymore. It's taken a little bit longer because their main dude had knee surgery. Stuff like that just happens. So in the meantime, I got plenty of work to occupy my mind. So that's just on the back burner. I'll be putting the glass into that piece of work quite soon, probably next week. And then that'll be getting installed. I'm dying to know just how well those hinges work. Those self-closing hinges. You know what I'm talking about? Ooh, I'm excited because I didn't put grease in them because they had to be powder coated. You know, the grease would bake out of them, the powder coating wouldn't adhere, so I couldn't do any lubricant. And you know, all of us know how important that is. So I wasn't able to put any lube in the damn thing. So I'm really excited to see when it's in place, all lubed up, and just seeing how that thing flows real nice. You know, really excited. Harry, isn't it true that you're not a big fan of powder coating? Harry, absolutely. It's not my favorite finish, but the handrail is gonna be my favorite finish, which is forged steel, polished up with all those like high edges becoming a nice, lovely silver, and just a lovely coating of just yummy, glossy lacquer. It's my favorite finish. Is the powder coating colored? Yes, it is. We're going like a deep, almost black bronze. That's what the client chose. I really enjoy their choice, actually. How do you bend the steel, the attached steel? Zinc, that's a great question. Like the horse rail. Great question, Zinc. So as a smith, a lot of times I'm getting this stuff hot so I can bend it. I can sculpt it, I can forge it, I can move it, right? Like this is just sitting over here on my table. Like this is some inch and a quarter plate that I forged out all the way down to nothing, right? That's all forged hot. So it's gonna be very similar to that kind of process, right? But I like to forge cold as well. So forging cold comes with a lot of different challenges because when you're forging, we're talking big bar. Where's some big bar that I can show you? We got some big bar. Yeah, here we go. So, like I'll forge this stuff cold, you know, and this is, 3/8 by 3. When I'm forging this stuff cold, it takes some serious onion and some serious support. It's not about how hard you hit it. Because let's say I come down, I'll be using a much larger hammer than this one. Let's say I come down with all of the juice I can muster on the end of this thing. Well, it's just going to be a teeter-totter. The steel is going to resist my strike and just blast all of the energy right into my arm, into my wrist, my elbow, and my shoulder, into my back, and my neck, just everything. So you can never strike down here and anticipate this to bend. There's just no way. This will never bend, especially the hard way, by just hitting this side. It's just gonna teeter-totter and hit me on the other end of this thing, right? What you need is 3 points of contact, not 2, 3, right? So that comes in many different forms. So one of them is like a good little bending tool like this. This just pops into my hardy hole, right? There's a 1 inch square bar that matches my 1 inch hardy hole, right? That goes in. Now this goes and bridges this gap. So all of that energy, if I strike right in the center, all of that energy is now completely isolated from me holding on to this other end over here. So when I come down with my hammer right here on that center spot, all of this is isolated. Sorry, copper just hit the speed booster when that came down. But yeah, zinc, I hope that answered your question. Thank you for showing education at the best marketing. I like this. Hey, Zinc, I'm so glad you're enjoying yourself. Welcome, my friend. Yeah, and it's forging cold is not for the faint of heart, but I think in this instance, knowledge is power. Not like physical power. Knowledge is power. Like I was talking about before. When it comes to human ingenuity, when it comes to having just a firm grasp of physics, engineering, something enough to get you in trouble, right? What's your most used jig? I don't do a lot of jigs. I just do like tools. I don't like jigs because I like everything being handmade. But not that, doing like, scroll jigs or anything like that. That doesn't mean it's not handmade. But I like some little bit of variance, that little bit of humanity in there still. My most used, that's tough. But this is slowly becoming one of my most used tools right here. But one of my most used jigs, that's tough. Well, first of all, they're all listening. And I can't betray them by telling you my favorite or my most used, But my most used might just happen to be my bending tool right there. Ooh, zinc. I've always wanted to have a blacksmithing or smelting shop. Zinc, absolutely. And like I said previously, I compel everyone to have a little bit of blacksmithing knowledge because it'll always come to help you. If you need a hook, if you need to, just even knowing how to straighten a nail well, or just, straighten out something that's been bent, that wasn't supposed to bend. There's first of all tons of videos of other creators teaching you how to blacksmith on here. Go support them. But I actually have on Patreon, I have a online blacksmith apprenticeship. William, especially in the apocalypse, 100%. Yeah. It's just good to have under your belt. It's another tool in your toolbox. It's another, arrow in your quiver. Being able to have steel at your disposal. You know what I mean? Like, you could take good steel like this leaf spring, or not leaf spring, coil spring. My goodness, could you imagine? Even felt wrong coming out of my mouth. This coil spring, you could turn that into a nice little knife. You can do that. You can do so much with it. Oh, yeah, the anvil for sure is the most used tool in here, for sure. It was funny. I even brought my favorite forging hammer up to Washington with me. It was a trip. I was nervous because my bag weighed like exactly 50 pounds. It was like 48 or something like that. And there's a 50-pound maximum. And I had the thing loaded with super dangerous tools, like, my hammer. I had a whole bunch of tongs in there. But they all made it okay. And they made it back okay, too. Damascus is super cool zinc. And it's amazing what you can do with so little. You don't need many tools to get into just at least fundamental blacksmithing. So if you're interested, I have an online apprenticeship program that I have set very reasonably priced. I want to make sure you guys get a ton of value out of it because I want it accessible. I want it super accessible to people. JJ, hi. Oh, and hello, Lilith. It's good to see you all. Max's suitcase is just 50 hammers and a pair of underwear. 100%, buddy. Not far from the truth. Not far from the truth, my friend. It was funny. That thing was heavy, too. It was really interesting because it wasn't a big bag, but the thing was just like solid steel in the inside, and I was like checking it. I'm like, careful, it's heavy. And they're like, oh, yeah, whatever. And then there was like, oh, when they go like lift it to put it on the thing, Oh, my God. What have I missed? Not much. We've just been talking philosophy and blacksmithing. It's been great. Hey, there's one now. Do the apprenticeship, he says. Hammertown Anvil, Robin, Buddy, and we get to play Minecraft together. Robin and I, we play Minecraft together damn near daily. It's just the best of times. It's a good community. It's a very positive community, which in this day and age, I'm being told it's kind of rare, which I think is a bunch of poppycock, boulder dash, pish posh. Nah, positive community starts from the top, baby. Hey, Harry, the apprenticeship is definitely worth it. Thank you. I swear, I'm trying to get that, all the videos compiled for the apprenticeship program of me teaching up in Washington. I really need to get that to you guys. I don't know if it's going to be helpful at all with my Britney Spears mic in and all that stuff, but I hope you guys can get something out of it. I feel like there's some lessons in there that are worth your time. You know what I mean? Yeah, 100%. Oh, you guys, this is the best. Ooh, just switch to your Taurus video. I wish your apprenticeship program success. Thank you, Zinc. Not the right time. Oh, gee, there's never any rush. It ain't going anywhere. That's the greatest part about it, is everything's just archived. You don't have to be up like, none of it. Well, I mean, we do like live discussions every month, which is pretty great. We talk about things. I get to answer you guys' questions. I get to curate my answers directly to what you want to do, either it be cool armor, jewelry, or it's, making swords, making tools, whatever you're doing. I get to share what I know about that with you. I made a leaf bottle opener video. That's incredible. Forage and fishing, you should be totally proud of it. I'll go check that out. That's awesome. Landlord roommate situation, right, for me. Oh yeah, Zinc, been there, done that. That's brutal. I totally understand. You'll get there. Smithing's always there for you. It'll always be waiting. We need max action figures with the headset. Okay, easy now, easy. Robin, take it easy. The headset was so weird. It's so funny too, because I felt bad for the audience because, hey, when you're forging 2-inch bar for like several hours straight, you're grunting, you're breathing heavy. If we could only get the feed from that mic when I was forging that stuff. Oh boy. Yeah. Not terribly appropriate. Hey, Ronan, did you make a pair of butterfly blades? Yes, I did. Yeah, Netflix reached out and I was already a huge fan of the Dragon Prince series. Still am. Super fun. I like to treat it like my Saturday morning cartoons, you know. A man of a certain age, you know, we remember the joys of Saturday morning cartoons, you know what I mean? So I gotta get a little of that from Dragon Prince because it's just good fun. But Netflix reached out to me. I was super deeply honored. They wanted to commission some Rayla's proper, like actually working butterfly blades. They didn't want the hook function. I was like, oh, let's go full bore, right? They couldn't afford the hook function, but they were happy to pay for the kick-ass butterfly blade functions. And my God, they were a blast to build. They were challenging. And what was really cool is when we're talking about like a good grasp of engineering and physics and stuff, the animators, the creators, the art directors, they did some homework. They knew what they were doing when they designed them because they were not terribly far from the truth. You know, like they were based in a form of reality. And I love to see that. It's not just magic. Oh, they just work, right? You see that a lot on like, you know, animes and stuff like that. But you know, like they did a lot of research. They took a lot of clear work to make it doable, right? To make it make a little bit of sense. And I think that therein lies their success, you know? So yeah, I was super humbled by them commissioning those from me. It's insane. How long did they take? That was a couple months. That was a long process. You know, those were not a cakewalk. There were probably like 40 moving parts in each of those damn things. Not only like, you know, the forged blades, all that stuff. And I made sure I sent them to Netflix not terribly sharp because I didn't want them to be like, oh, cool. And then there's just like a couple fingers fall to the floor like baby carrots. You know what I mean? Like we can't go having that. Have you ever learned the history of the butterfly knife? Harry, no, please, like regale us. That sounds really cool. What show is it on? Dragon Prince. I appreciate good entertainment science research. Zinc, 100%. Absolutely, my friend. You know, like, I feel like I wish I would have been able to spend more time in like Star Trek. You know, like I was a Star Wars kid, not a Star Trek kid. I wish I could have been both. You know, I don't have the time to dive into, you know, the ethos of Star Trek. It's too daunting to me. But I want to. But so much of that is rooted in such deep logic and physics. And like, I love that. Copper, come here, buddy. Where like in Star Wars, not a critique. Star Wars is just, that's how it is, right? They don't need to get into the minutia of how the engines work or, you know, anything like that. It just does. How many hours would you say? Oof, that's tough. A couple hundred, few hundred, probably. Because I was probably working on other things. I usually am. I'm trying to juggle a couple of different things, either just in the design phase while something's in the shop, so that things will move like greased skids out of the shop and into the shop. You know, there needs to be less downtime of an empty shop. You know what I mean? Ever cut my hair on fire? Zinc. Well, I'm going to knock on wood as I say no. But there's definitely like, it trims itself. So like as I'm working, like this is definitely hot zone, you know, and that's just kind of where it stops, you know. I think it comes to a singe. But like I don't use hairspray or anything like that, so there's nothing flammable in it. God, do you remember watching like America's Funniest Home Videos when like Aunt Connie's hair explodes? Like, you know, like she like, is at a wedding or some damn things, you know, Uncle Tony has got the camera on, and then Aunt Connie is leaning a little bit too close to the candle, and all of a sudden it's like like a nuclear bomb going off. Harry usually doesn't do that. He mainly smolders. 80s were a wild time. 100%. Yeah, Ryan, 100%. Hairspray and lead poisoning, 100%. Oh my God, that's so funny. Big hair era, for sure. Oh yeah, Harry, here we go. According to oral history, my favorite kind of history, they were invented by the Filipinos. Oh wait, I do remember this. In the 800s, that's amazing. And were instrumental in helping overcome occupation. That's so interesting. I feel like every culture has their version of like a black knife, right? Like a skin do. Like, the culture that have done like a lot more research on is Scottish history, coming from a lot of Scottish descent, playing the Great Highland bagpipes and stuff like that. You have a skin do in your sock, kind of to symbolize, an occupation, right? And I feel like every culture has been occupied at some point, and they have their version of a hidden knife. That's really interesting. Wow. I love human ingenuity, to overcome something. Yeah, play the bagpipes for sure. What material do I use for the fantasy weapons? I love a good spring steel. Good spring steel because, if you never know if I like to keep my blades dull, never sharpen. Like if you order a knife from me, or back in the day when I used to make a lot of Damascus knives and stuff like that, I'd send them razor sharp, razor sharp. But when it comes to fantasy blades and swords and stuff like that, I don't send them a sharp because the first thing people do when they're like, "Oh, cool," and they'll like run their finger across the blade, is it sharp? Every time, every freaking time. Tell them to play. It's Father's Day. Hey, I'm a dad. Rage. Well, first of all, rage. Happy Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to all the people out there watching today. Either live or after the fact, happy freaking Father's Day, guys. It's a big job being a dad. It's a real big job, real big responsibility. And, for all of those kind of adopted dads, mentors out there, happy Father's Day back to you because you have just an important job. Being a mentor, being an inspiration for, kids that were like me where, I had to go no contact myself, but I had tons of men in my life that I'm very grateful for being incredible, influential mentors. Maybe even some that I didn't even get to meet, right? Like I instantly think of like Mike Rowe, for instance, Dirty Jobs. Like that guy was a huge influx of like what it meant to be a good man, kind and curious. There's tons of them out there. It's a good day to celebrate that. Or play the concertina. Rage, I crumble under peer pressure. Don't do this to me, Rage. Don't do this to me. But happy freaking Father's Day, everybody. I'm a proud uncle, and maybe one day I could be a mentor to those little kiddos, It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. It's a big responsibility, though. Yeah, I hope you go out there and, those kind of paternal figures out there, I hope you reach out to them while you still got them in your life, reach out to them and tell them what they mean to you. Tell them, guys, no, Rage, no. They're not tuned up. They're not even pulled out of the case. There's dust on them right now. Use contraception. Sink. Well, everybody, I think I need to let you guys get back to your day, your beautiful Father's Day. Let you get back. But I'm just fresh out of tea. But we're definitely not fresh out of inspiration and good ideas. Copper, do you wanna close out, buddy? Come here. Come here, Copper Dog. Come here, Mr. Copper Dog. Here he is. Oh, all right. Okay, buddy. What do we say, man? We freaking love you guys. Don't forget to freaking love each other, okay? Be kind out there. You know, maybe do something kind for someone, or maybe just yourself. Reach out to those dads out there that have inspired you to be a good person. All right, everyone. Have a great Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.